I'm making deviled eggs, but they're not any old plain deviled eggs. I'm adding a fried shrimp on top. I am going to let my shrimp sit in the buttermilk and then get started on my egg. Okay, so I have a little bit of salt and pepper that I'm adding to this bowl, which has some buttermilk in it. I have about a pound of Charleston white shrimp that I have peeled and deveined. Putting it in the buttermilk helps that coating adhere to the shrimp because, I mean, shrimp doesn't have skin on it, so it needs something to help it stick, and that's what that buttermilk does. Now, if you don't live in a coastal area like I do, you can always use frozen. Just make sure it's thawed. Make sure it's nice and coated with that buttermilk. I have 12 extra large hard-boiled eggs here. I'm gonna use a food processor to make my filling. So I'm just gonna dump the yolk in there, and then I have this cute little tray here that I'm gonna put each half on. All right, so for the rest of the ingredients in here, I have my egg yolk. I'm gonna add a little mayo, it's a really good mayo. A little yellow mustard. You gotta have that yellow mustard in there. A little sour cream, some sweet relish, a little salt, a pinch of my house seasoning. You don't want to make it too salty. And some freshly cracked black pepper. All right, so I'm just gonna turn this on until it becomes smooth. I like putting my yolk mixture in the food processor because I pipe this out into each individual half, so it comes out really, really smooth. All right, so I have a jar here to help keep that nice and sturdy while I add my yolk. Yummy. I have a star tip on my piping bag. Hear my grandma and my mom talking right now. Don't you waste that, get all of that out of there. So I'm just piping this. So I'm starting off like that, kind of holding my bag not too tight because I don't want too much to come out at one time, and just gliding it up just like that. It's gonna be like the bed for my fried shrimp. Those look beautiful. Now I'm going to dredge and fry my shrimp. I'm gonna combine 1 cup of all-purpose flour, about a half a cup of yellow cornmeal, and that's gonna make it really crunchy. A little seafood seasoning, and a little extra pinch of salt. Mix it all together. Taking my shrimp that has been sitting in that buttermilk and just dredging, and I dredge the tail as well. All right, I have my oil heated to 350. I'm gonna fry these in batches until they're golden brown. This is gonna be my first batch. Now, shrimp does not take long to cook, 3 to 4 minutes. I have some neutral oil here, some canola oil. You can use vegetable if you'd like. I stick between canola and vegetable oil. Give that about 3 or 4 minutes. Ooh, these are pretty. All right, I believe these are done. Look how pretty they are. And let me tell you something, you'll know if you've overcooked shrimp if they get a really, really tight curl. I'm gonna build myself an egg. Oh, that's really good. It's delicious. I'm making fried shrimp with my mom's famous French fries, but I'm gonna make the seasoning for my fried shrimp. I call this my Gulla seasoning. I'm using a lot of paprika, almost 4 tablespoons of that. For the color, smokiness, 2 teaspoons of oregano, 2 teaspoons onion powder, a little bit of cayenne, not too spicy, 2 teaspoons garlic powder. You know what? I love garlic powder. Another little teaspoon. White pepper, thyme, and this Gulla seasoning will go great on poultry. I'm adding some basil. You can also use it on your vegetables. It's universal, and that's exactly why I made it. Gulla is a term used to describe the African-American people here in the Low Country. We're a distinct group of African-Americans, and our food definitely speaks to our West African ancestry. And I add a little bit of sugar just to balance out some of that cayenne that I use. A few pinches of salt, a few cracks of pepper. All right, that's done. I'm gonna get started on my dredge. Got a bowl for my wet, got a bowl for my dry. just gonna start with 2 cups of flour in my dry, my Gulla seasoning. I'm just gonna use all of the buttermilk. When you dredge, keep one hand clean, keep one hand messy. Drop it in the buttermilk, drop it in the dredge. I can't wait till Mom gets here. She's the reason why I cook. Before I get started, I wanna check the temp on my oil. You wanna make sure that it's at a temperature between 360 and 375. Be mindful to go one at a time because if you drop it all in at one time, they're gonna clump together, okay? Woo! Music to my ears. Don't overcrowd your pot. Otherwise, it will boil over. Move it around. Make sure it doesn't stick to the bottom. And I'm looking for that golden brown color. Not too dark, not too light. That's it. That's the color I'm looking for. That's the firmness I'm looking for. It's ready to come out. And do this fast. Don't hurt yourself, but work quickly. You want a nice, even color. First batch is done. Mommy! Just in time?
Ooh, let me make some fries to go with them shrimps. What you think?
Remember, growing up, you would make the steak fries. I'm here to assist you in my kitchen.
Okay. Well, we got my seasoning.
My mom has washed 2 russet potatoes, cut it up. She's adding the russet potatoes to the bowl with a little bit of that Gulla seasoning. And she's now adding flour to begin tossing. So the flour is going to give it that nice coating and that crunch we want at the end. Okay.
Okay, you know what? I really, truly need a bag.
This work?
Yes, that'll work.
My mom always used a bag.
Okay, is the oil ready?
The oil's nice and hot.
All right, so I'm just gonna drop them in there and just let them stay in there for about 10 minutes and we should be good to go.
All right, Ma, these look good to you?
Yeah, you can tell because they're like kind of brownish there. They're good, they're good.
They are beautiful.
You know what's good?
What?
Sprinkle a little bit more on this while it's hot on the fries.
Okay, Ma, with the tidbits, Pat's facts for the day.
There you
I
are.
like it. I'm making a grilled shrimp macaroni salad. Sweet Carolina shrimp and American macaroni salad. It is amazing. So I got a pound of local shrimp that I just put a little bit of olive oil on there. I got some cracked black pepper, kosher salt, squeeze half of lemon on top. Lemon juice just really brightens up seafood, especially shrimp. My grill is very, very hot. These shrimp are gonna cook in no time. I'm just gonna pour this right on top of my, music to my ears. Spread it out, make sure they cook nice and evenly. Ain't nothing like Charleston shrimp, I tell you that. When the shrimp get nice and pink and a nice little char on it, you know it's time to flip it. This salad is gonna be loaded with shrimp. Nice and crispy and super sweet. Ooh, look at that. These shrimp are perfection. I'm gonna let it cool down and get started on the dressing for my macaroni salad. It's a simple Dijonaise, about a half a cup of mayo, a squirt of Dijon mustard. That Dijon mustard is gonna give it a little tang. Quarter cup of sweet relish. The sweet relish is gonna help mellow out the tanginess from the Dijon and the red wine vinegar. I'd say about a tablespoon of red wine vinegar. Put that to the side. A half an onion. Shrimp season is not year-round in Charleston, but what my grandmother likes to do and what I like to do now too is get the shrimp in shrimp season and put pounds of it in the freezer. So when we want shrimp when it's out of season, we just go to the freezer, thaw it out, and it tastes just as fresh. Half of a green bell pepper. This is Charleston's Trinity. Onion, bell pepper, celery, and I got some celery back there that I'm gonna cut up as well. Do the same thing with this celery stalk. Shrimp is a staple ingredient in low country cooking, especially Gulla cooking, because it's plentiful. I come from a long line of avid fishermen and shrimpers. My grandfather made handmade nets right under the oak tree in his backyard. People would come by and they would pay for it, and he made a living doing that. So that's why I love shrimp. I have a 16-ounce box of elbow macaroni cooked al dente. The dressing just adheres to this pasta really, really well. Add my shrimp now. Now we're talking. I'm gonna add a little bit more salt. For this particular dish, I like to use garlic salt. It has garlic and salt, of course, and a little bit of dried parsley. Last but not least, just gonna add some fresh parsley on top, brighten it up a little bit, and some paprika. My mom loves to serve her salads like that and kind of picked up that habit too. I'm gonna let this refrigerate for about an hour. If you want to do it overnight, you can, but an hour is all I need. Ladies and gents, ratatouille, low country style. Ratatouille is a traditional French vegetable stew. And there's different variations of this dish, and I'm making my own variation of it with okra and shrimp. So in the skillet here, I added 1 onion, a green bell pepper that I diced, garlic, zucchini, yellow squash, and 1 small eggplant. All right, now I'm gonna add a pint of cherry tomatoes, a few sprigs of thyme, as well as a bay leaf. I'm gonna basically cook it until the cherry tomatoes start to blister. Now for my low country twist. I'm gonna add my okra. Okra doesn't take long to cook. Had I add the okra in the same time as the eggplant, it would just get really, really mushy. Now I'm gonna add in my shrimp that I have cleaned and deveined. And I'm just cooking the shrimp until it turns pink. All right, the juice of a lemon helps cut the slickness from the okra. Make sure you don't get any seeds in there. That's why I like to do it this way. Ladies and gents, ratatouille, low country style. Turn that off, bring this over here. Oh, as if this isn't already great on its own, I wanna add basil. Vita and Jade will be here soon, and we can celebrate this beautiful journey they're embarking on. I mean, all right, let me go get some tissues, because this is gonna be emotional. Lord. I'm gonna turn my grill on, because I'm making shrimp scampi kebabs. I finally chopped some tarragon and some parsley. I'm making a marinade for my shrimp kebabs. It's almost like the flavor in the chimichurri. Got some white wine vinegar, some oil, a little Dijon. I'm adding a little bit of mustard in there, and honey to kind of cut some of the acidity. And I'm mincing up 5 cloves of garlic. To the bowl, I'm gonna add about a half a cup of canola oil. I'm gonna add in about a tablespoon of white wine vinegar, whole grain mustard, give it a little kick. I'd say about 2 teaspoons. A little Dijon. I'm gonna add some honey to it. So a cross between tangy and sweet. I'm gonna add my garlic, that parsley, and the tarragon. Tarragon smells like licorice, and it definitely tastes like licorice. And tarragon and Dijon mustard, match made in heaven. I'm gonna do the juice of 1 lemon. I have a half a pound of shrimp that I have deveined, and I left the tail on. I like leaving the tail on not only for a little bit of presentation on the skewer, but it also helps to keep the shrimp intact on the skewer. Give it a toss. All right, so I'm gonna let this set up in the fridge for about 30 minutes. So I've got my shrimp, remember? Yeah, it's been marinating in the fridge. So I'm gonna make my shrimp scampi kebabs. All right, so I've got 2 lemons here. I'm gonna cut them into half moon and wanna use it on my skewer. Shrimp and lemon go together hand in hand. I wanna chop up some parsley for garnish. Just give it a rough chop. So I've got my skewers here. I'm gonna go lemon first, fold it in half, thread it through like that. Then shrimp, lemon peel and shrimp. I'm just gonna continue to do that until I get to the top. Everything looks great. I'm gonna head outside now and get these babies on the grill. My grill is nice and hot. You know, shrimp doesn't take long to cook. I've already sprayed it down with some nonstick, so it's not gonna stick. I wanna let my shrimp cook for about 2 to 3 minutes on both sides until I get those pretty char marks. The grill's gonna give it a little smoky flavor. It's gonna provide some of that char that I love on shrimp. That's what I wanted, a nice char on that side. Goodness gracious, that smells incredible. That's charred on the other side. I'm just gonna plate it. I got some of my marinade just poured on top.